Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Match Play. My name is Will Moore. Alongside me is Clint Logan and Allison Steinheiser. And if you haven't noticed, there's something a little bit different about this week. We are on location outside Lilly Field here at Rodman Park on the campus of Cal U. Guys, how do you feel about being out here today?
Oh, it's a great day. Very beautiful out. Nice to be out in this nice weather instead of the normal studio atmosphere that we're used to.
Definitely. I mean, it's so beautiful with baseball and softball season getting ready to start up. They've already started, actually. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But beautiful day. We figured we'd come outside instead of staying in the studio.
That's a great idea, and why not take advantage of this spring-like weather? All right, we've got a lot on the slate, so let's get straight into it here. First up on the list here for us today, the NCAA Division II Women's Tournament was last week. It started. California faced off against Charleston in the first round, handled them fairly well, then went in against 8th-seeded Shaw, coming off a big upset win over Edinburgh. California, they fell to the same exact fate to the last seed in the Atlantic region. Clint, we'll start with you. How about California in this season, and Kayla Smith as a senior player playing her last few games?
Well, California did an amazing job. Kayla Smith being that one senior on the team, leading the team. They did a great job throughout the season and in their PSAC conference, and Kayla Smith just did a great job leading them through. A couple unfortunate losses to Edinburgh in the PSAC tournament and to Shaw. Hats off to Shaw. Shaw did a great job in that tournament. They won their way out. But what more can you say for Kayla Smith? She had a great career here and a very young team coming back next year. A lot of promise looking for California.
Allison.
Yeah, Shaw was not your typical 8th seed. They got a ton of transfers and other students that didn't play in the first semester. They had so much speed. They did have 11 losses on the year, but they should not have been an 8th seed with the talent that they had on that team, and they showed that in the CIAA tournament as well, taking it over Johnson C. Smith, who they also beat to advance to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, and you have to commend California for making it that far in the tournament, because they are such a young team. Kayla Smith, we mentioned, the only senior on that squad. Very impressive by such a young team making the tournament. I expect to see them back there again.
Yeah, it'll be hard to replace Kayla. She's definitely going to be missed next year, but they'll have a good shot with all that young players.
All right, moving on to our next topic. Melissa Gates in the California swimming team. She won the national championship for individual in the 50 freestyle. Allison, tell us a little bit more about Melissa Gates' accomplishments here.
Well, Melissa Gates, in her first qualifier meet that she swam at nationals, was on the first day, she broke her own personal school record with a time of 23.02 seconds. Now, if you've seen the 500 freestyle, you know how important the start is. If you get a bad start, you're not going to do well in the race. Well, she obviously got a good start. Then, to win the championship, she actually broke the PSAC record with a time of 22.72 seconds. So she's incredibly fast, and she has another shot next year, too, because she's only a junior.
Absolutely, and that's what's awesome about swimming. It's really been picking up. These smaller sports at California that you're not really seeing, like swimming, it really boosts up the school, and especially for like the Dixon Cup for all that, it really helps in those standings. But the first ever national champion in swimming for California, there's only been 4 other ones here at California in different sports, but Melissa Gates picks up the first one, so congratulations to her.
Absolutely, and on top of that, you said first ever swimming individual national championship. She was the first individual national championship since 1984, in 1989. It was a wrestler, so that's a huge accomplishment for her. And a lot of times you do see the teams that get the national championships, but in this case, Melissa was able to win by herself, although she did have her team there with her because a lot of the swimmers qualified for the relays.
And I do like what you mentioned there, Clint, about the Dixon Cup, that every sport counts equally in that, so that's a very valid point. Moving on now, in our California topics here, we're looking right behind us. As you can see, there's lots of spring ball in the air. Softball and baseball both picking up the past few weeks. CUTV's coverage of Vulcan baseball and softball will kick off shortly, so keep that on the docket, guys. What are you looking forward to in this year's baseball and softball teams?
Well, there's a lot of promise for both teams right now. They both started off with good seasons so far. The softball team's 11-5, baseball 10-5. Now, both teams have not gone into conference play, which is really when they need to shine. But so far, they're off to a great start. The softball, it's really been held down by the pitching. Their top 3 starters right now, all sitting under a 2.2 ERA, and that's huge. If you can go through that, And if the pitching can hold it up, the hitting will keep you in it. And their hitting's been great too. They're hitting .330 as a team. For baseball, their pitching's been a little iffy. In the 9th inning, they've given up a lot of runs, but they've done a great job hitting, and that's what's keeping them in it. So we'll see when it comes to section play.
Absolutely. You talked about pitching for softball. One of the main pitchers this year is going to be Marie Greco. She is coming off of last year where she had a good season, but she wasn't the main pitcher. Well, now she is the main pitcher. She's stepping up for Sheehan, and she's doing a great job so far this season. They also have a freshman coming in, Shelby Leah. She was actually named the PSAC Player of the Week for the PSAC West, and also she hit 500 last week in 7 games, so she is a great future for this team.
All right, exciting things coming from the Vulcan ball teams here this spring. So make sure you come out and check out some games and keep tuned to CUTV as we're going to have continuing coverage of these sports and more. Now, finally moving on to our fan topic. It's a chance where you, the fan, sitting at home on your couch, can get a chance to get in on the action. We always love to hear your input, comments, questions, and a chance to add your own topics, see what we want to, or what you want us to talk about. Now, today we're going to be talking about the NFL Pro Day that was held just Wednesday, right over here behind us at Adamson Stadium. Allison, what'd you see at Pro Day? Did you like what you saw from these players?
It was very interesting. There were a lot of different players there. Not only did you have Cal players like Terrence Moore, but you also had some players from Clarion, Mercyhurst, and we actually had a player from Pitt, Elijah Fields. He came to the Cal Pro Day. There were 2 scouts there from Green Bay and from the Eagles. So it's nice to see these Division II athletes getting some attention that the Division I athletes get nationally.
It's definitely something they deserve. They deserve that attention. And one of the big players going into it was Josh Portis. That's what everyone wanted to see in, his pro day. Well, he went to Pitt's pro day the day before, so that's when he threw. So he was not out on the field throwing or anything, which is good to see because you never want to see a player go out there and try and do more than they've already done, hurt his arm, hurt his where he's going to go in the draft. So it was a smart decision by Josh Portis. I unfortunately didn't get to see it. I was doing my radio show, but I heard it was a great outing and just a great atmosphere.
Yeah, and on top of that, Josh Portis was there to support his teammates, and it was really nice to see because you had a bunch of the football players on the field that maybe were seniors and had graduated and weren't really part of the team anymore, but they still were because you had all of those younger players there. There was a great turnout as far as the football players there to support each other.
Yeah, we saw a whole bunch of players there that are on the team but did not necessarily participate because they're still on the team, but they get a chance to see what that looks like. We saw like Rontez Miles, Patrick Swearinger all up there.
Yep.
A lot of other teammates were also up there as well during the game or during the drills. So that's always great to see players coming out and supporting their former teammates. All right, well, that'll do it for our California topics, but we're just starting to get heated up here on Match Play. When we come back, we will have your regional topics, so stay tuned.
You're watching CUTV, California University Television.